Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Okay, so this is the second part of putting the carpet into this 2002 Chevy Impala. Again, tools you'll need, wrenches and screwdrivers, whatever it takes to get your seats and other trim in and out, utility knife, good scissors, and you may want some trim adhesive, and you may want to use a heat gun to get the carpet well fitted. Okay, now we're ready to put the new carpet in. So you want to basically just kind of take it and kind of half roll it, bend it in half, I guess, from front to back. And then what I'm using is that brace that goes across. It's a big lump in the carpet. So I'm lining that up first and then kind of rolling it forward into the dash area. Okay, and then just starting to press it down into place with my hands. Okay, now turning our attention to the back a little bit. It's basically just an exercise in, continuing to press it into place, get the molding, kind of everything starts making more sense at this point. As far as when you first took it out of the box, it just kind of looked like a wrinkly piece of carpet. Now as you press into place, you see that a lot of the detail and stuff is in the mold that didn't show before because of how it had to be folded up and rolled for shipping. I just use my fists a little bit, trying to work the carpet into place as much as possible. Okay, then here working in the front, again, just pushing down on the carpet. Kind of try to work from the middle, so start in the center of the carpet, get everything in place correctly, then work from the middle out, get the middle all in where you want it. And then work to the outsides, work to the front, and work to the back. Just getting the carpet basically in place, and then I'm kind of laying down up here and folding it up and under the pedals and whatnot up under the dash. Okay, so here we can remember back to threading in the bolts for the seats. I'm going to take a razor knife, obviously being very careful while I'm using the razor knife. You could probably use scissors too, and you just want to cut slits. And what that allows you to do is, if you don't like where the carpet is placed, once you get everything down into place, you can move the carpet around, and those slits won't be as noticeable if you do something, kind of in the wrong place. Okay, so here where I need to make one of my slits, there's, the factory insulation is there. So I've cut through with my knife first, and I'm just going to use a nice, good set of scissors and pull the insulation back and trim it off. So that I can get through that carpet and get the bolt out and just keep fitting the carpet. Now I need to cut out for the heating ducts, and on the driver's side I had some wiring, so I want to be very careful. So I can feel the heating ducts with my fingers first. So I figure out where I want to cut, then I lift the carpet up. Obviously we're working with a razor knife, so again, be very careful. And I'm cutting on each side of the duct, again lifting up so I don't cut the wires. And now I'll just use my good pair of scissors and make the cut around the duct. And a lot of stuff like this is underneath the seats, so if you don't get it perfect, it's okay. So there we go. Okay, not the best shot of this, but now we're just making all the rest of the cutouts, doing the front seats here. So make sure your carpet is exactly where you want it. Then make a slit, and then cut out with your scissors. And you don't have to duplicate the factory cutout perfectly, but you want to make sure that it allows you easy access to those slots where the seat goes in. Okay, and then the same thing for our inner seat mount. Again, be careful using the razor knife, make the slits, and then use your scissors to finish off the cut, and just cut out all the rest of your cutouts, basically using the same procedure. Make sure the carpet's where you want it first, and then make the cutouts. Here's the up underneath the passenger, where the passenger feet go. You can see there's a nice big panel. That plastic panel you can pull down and remove, and then tuck the carpet up in there. You may need to cut it out around the motor a little bit. Those pieces are basically the only pieces I cut out for that area. And then this is up around the brake pedal and gas pedal. And quite honestly, you can't really see up in this area, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to make sure that you cut out enough so that everything comes together. As you can see, once you're up in an angle where you normally look at the car, you really can't see up in there that well. Okay, so basically at this point you've got the front trimmed out, all your cutouts are trimmed, and the next step would be to trim the sides, but at this point, as you can see, there's some wrinkles in the carpet. So if you have access to a heat gun, basically this is the point before you cut trim the sides. Take that heat gun, heat up those wrinkles, kind of press them, maybe use a little bit of a roller, almost like a roller like you would use in the kitchen, to roll those wrinkles out. I didn't have use of a heat gun, so I just went to the next step, which is to trim the sides. Okay, so here I'm going to fast forward through, make sure the carpet's down in place where you want it, and then push it in, and then always use the less is more. So you want to trim less at first, and remember you do have some pretty big side panels that allow you to make a little bit of a mistake, but obviously you want to avoid making mistakes. And so trim it out. Again, less is more, cutting a little bit, then checking it, and then cutting a little bit more. And if you wanted to, in place of that staple and tab that was there, you could glue the sides down to the edge of the carp just to keep it in place some. Okay, so now we're going to speed through here. I'm going to bring that pillar trim back in, get it around the seatbelt, and put it up into place, get it around the weather strip, get it to fit back on there, and get it to clip in at the top, then clip in at the bottom. Okay, make sure it's all over the weather strip. You just kind of have to work it and get it so it goes over the hard part of the weather strip. Put it down into place, and then your rear trim piece, get it down into place, and you made a little cutout in the carpet so you can fit it in there. Push it down. Okay, and then the same thing for the front lower trim. Push it in at the top. Again, you've got the cutouts on the sides. Cut it out so you can have the tabs in the way. Obviously you would cut out around if you're screwing it down around the holes to screw it into, and get that into place. Okay, so you can see our carpet's pretty well installed. Most of the cutouts are done. Again, might be a good time to take a heat gun to it, get some of the wrinkles out that you don't like, pull the bolts out, make sure you have good access to those holes. You want to have them nice and clear so when you put the bolts in, it's easy to get when you put the seats in, it's easy to get the bolts in. But it's looking pretty good, a whole lot better than that smelly, stained, and burnt up carpet that we had before. Now here we're going to put the seat right in. Make sure you get the seat belts in that slot. Push it back, and then down right into its little slots, and push it down in nice and firm. Okay, now we're going to bring the passenger side seat in, show you this side. It's a little easier to get in. Driver's seat's the same thing, just it's a little more difficult to get in because it's bigger. And you want to move the seat back a little bit, get it forward into its slots, and then tilt it back. Okay, so now just getting in back here, lift the seat up again, just make sure it goes down in place correctly, and those bolts should go down through the holes and in easily. Okay, and now we're going to I'm just using an air ratchet and tightening those bolts up, and after I tighten them up with the air ratchet, then I'll use a hand ratchet and make sure they're nice and tight. Okay, so reattach the seatbelt here, and then put the cover down over. Make sure you get it nice and tight, and repeat that for the driver's side. Make sure you hook up the power seat and airbag. Okay, so now we've got our seats back in, all our trim done, and you can see here's the finished product. Certainly I wouldn't mind having a heat gun and just kind of heating up those wrinkles a little bit and just make them a little bit nicer, but they will relax over time regardless. And put in a new set of floor mats. The back, everything looks great, and this, I have to tell you, this carpet smells a whole lot better than the dirty and, like I said, burnt and stained mess with this car was from a smoker, so the carpet smelled pretty bad, but this new carpet helps eliminate a lot of that smell. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.